I think the hardest thing is definitely just being able to let yourself make those mistakes and realize that they make something even better. I'm Brenna Michels-Gates, and this is Amazing Things. I really got involved in theater when I first saw a show. It was at the Fox Theater in St. Louis, and it was The Lion King. And Lion King is an amazing production, and little 5-year-old Brenna thought this was the most amazing thing she's ever seen in her entire life. So I loved it from there, and then once I got into high school, it really started becoming more of a passion, working on every single show that we produced every year. And then I realized this is what I want to do. I worked mostly on costumes and makeup and acted, but on the technical side it was mostly doing costumes and doing the crazy makeup that needed to be done for the shows. When I go into a design for costumes or makeup, I usually start looking for reference photos. So with the looks that I did on Zach and Peyton, it was kind of going on Pinterest and finding skull makeup or gore makeup, just kind of giving myself a reference to go off of. And the same with costumes. I start with, okay, here's kind of what I'm thinking, let's see if I can find some reference photos that kind of go in that direction, and then I start sketching and making my ideas from there. With Peyton, I used a bunch of this stuff called scar wax and made it look like she had nails and stuff just sticking out of her face, like she had a really bad accident up in the scene shop. Added some fake blood, some red coloring, some brown and blues to make it look really gross and bruised up. And then with Zach, I kind of tried to make it look like he had this weird futuristic skull smile thing, like if someone ripped off half of his face and it was just this weird neon skull thing underneath of there.
What's your name?
Last year, I just, on a whim, I wasn't really in any theater productions at the time, so I auditioned for film club and I got into one of the films last year, Misdirection. And for that, we had to have a gunshot wound to the head. And so I think I gave them my resume when I auditioned, and it had some stuff about costumes and makeup on it. So the director was like, hey, you want to design the costumes and do the makeup for this? And I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? I have this one great picture of Joe, the actor who had the gunshot wound. He's sitting in the back of my car and he's smiling, and there's just this gross gunshot wound in his head. It's the funniest picture to me because it looks so realistic, and then he's just sitting there smiling, happy as can be, nothing's wrong, everything's fine. It's kind of almost a form of art, painting or drawing and stuff. You're basically just painting on someone's face, and I've never considered myself a very good artist when it comes to painting or drawing, but I feel with makeup, there's a lot more room for not necessarily creativity, but making mistakes I feel is a lot more okay, because you just oh no, I put a line where it shouldn't, let's just smudge it, and it works. I really love how much freedom you have with it, and I love seeing the look on someone's face when what I've created for them is done. So they look in the mirror and they're like, oh my gosh, this looks so amazing. Or putting someone in a costume that I've designed and that character really comes to life because of that costume or because of that makeup. It's really cool to see how people take what I've given them, and translate it into their performance or into whatever they're doing. I really love being able to see how my work can benefit others. I'm a very perfectionist kind of person. It always has to be done this way and this right. So I think makeup has kind of taught me that getting it exactly right is okay. You don't have to get it exactly right every single time. You can make those mistakes. You can just have fun with it. I think that's a big thing it's taught me, is just have fun with this. If you're spending thousands of dollars and 4 years of your life studying something, find something that you're gonna have fun with for the rest of your life. Doing makeup and costumes, I have so much fun with it, and knowing that I get to do this for the rest of my life is just, I don't know, it really taught me that I need to find what I'm passionate about and really strive for that. I think the most difficult part is getting frustrated easily, because a lot of times I'll start something and I'll do it and I'm like, oh, this isn't what I want it to be, this isn't how it should look. And I get so caught up in doing the right thing instead of just letting it happen and letting something amazing come out of my mistakes, because that's how we learn. We make mistakes and that's how we grow and get better at something. just try it, do it. Just like, even if you think you can't do it, just try it. Like, I know I started doing this kind of stuff like for Halloween, like when I was a kid. You just gotta keep practicing with it, and if you don't start, like, if you don't try, you're never going to succeed.
Watch Amazing Things Monday through Thursday at 6:38 p.m. on KNWT Channel 8.